Hello everybody, this is Shadowbox and welcome back to Farming Simulator 15 here on old Uncle Hector's farm in the Great Smoky Mountains. One second while I plug in my headset because it just gave me that low battery warning. There we go. Okay, so I did a lot of bit of work after last episode. Actually found out that a big field back here was owned. So we went ahead and, I went ahead and fertilized and put down some seed on it. It is wheat. That field is wheat. Let's jump over. Field 20 is canola, and 19 is not done yet. So we are going to do field 19. We did need a pressure washer, so I actually found one at an estate sale yard over, and that's like a $10,000 pressure washer right there. And I picked it up for about $5,000. I thankfully didn't need to go through the bank for that. I was able to just give them cash. So we got that pressure washer. Otherwise, finances have been unchanged apart from purchasing fertilizer and seed. How are the grapes actually? Grapes are just about ready to be harvested. Not quite, though. Alright, so we are driving the new Holland T6 160 right now. Is it 160, right? 140. T6 140. And I'm going to see how this guy handles the cultivator. Actually, let me see how much horsepower they recommend for that cultivator. 220. Okay, so yeah, our little 160 here is not really gonna cut it. So actually we'll go ahead and we'll drop the weight. You know, I was surprised that seeder, I thought it was going to be a huge pain in the butt to seed anything with it just because of how small it is, but it's not terrible. I mean, I still can't wait to get a bigger one, but it's not terrible. It gets the job done. It's like the old JCB. Oh. Alright, let's get this guy folded out. Now hopefully we can get some good yield from these fields because obviously we still have to pay off old Uncle Hector's debt. Let's see, is that? Yeah, that's lowered. You see, I successfully converted my kilometers an hour into freedom units. So that makes much more sense to my brain. Alright, what should we do for this field? How about... Let's see, we've got canola and wheat. We've already had soybean and corn. So let's do this one in barley. Seems like a good idea to me. Just raise the cultivator. We lock on the course and drop the cultivator. There we go. Yeah, I like this map. The fields feel, you know, a decent size without being so large they're not workable. I don't know, my first farming sim game was Farming Sim 2013, and the first map I ever played on was Hagenstead, so it's kind of like, I don't know, I kind of feel like, I mean, I know that Hagenstead was not an ideal map, but at the same time, I kind of feel its field size was really well balanced. Same with Bjornholm. So it's like I look at those for a well-balanced, you know, field sizes, even though I know they're not realistic for US standards. I like this map though because it has a nice mixture of pretty large fields like field 13 or 32 or 48 and, you know, manageable ones like 19, 21, 17. I mean, this does feel like a mountain farm. At least, I'm familiar with the Appalachian Mountains. I don't really know the Smoky Mountains, but I'm familiar with the Appalachian Mountains. Alright. Trying to get this so I don't have to come back and do it again. And it looks like I succeeded. Yeah, sweet. I wonder if this map is compatible with that mod that like enhances your tractor's suspension and adds like mud puddles and stuff. That'd be interesting to look into. I kind of feel like it is because I can see the suspension of the tractors moving a little bit, but I'm not sure if that's just default or if that's part of the mod that I'm referring to. Like, it would have had to have been packaged with the map because I haven't downloaded it separately. I've also seen a few like divots in the fields and in the roads that would look like spots where you could expect like a mud hole, but there hasn't been any mud in it, so I'm wondering if it's compatible. It'd be interesting. When I was looking for a new like American map to play, I did come across what's it called? The States map, right? Is that what it's called? But it also has like it has some really cool stuff on it, but it also has soil mod, and soil mod is just taking it too far for me. You know, balancing pH and nitrates and stuff like that. That's just taking it a little bit too far for me. I saw Dare Tibers try to play it. I think it was in his Volga Life Let's Play that he was trying out soil mod, and it did not really look like a good time. So I noticed his next Let's Play, you know, California Life, he didn't use soil mod. So it just seems a little too micromanagement to me. Like, I do enjoy realism in Farming Simulator, but at the same time, it's still a game as opposed to doing it for real, you know? So I like realism, but there is a point where it's just too much realism for me. And I feel like you're spending a lot of time balancing your soil pH and nitrates and all that good stuff, and it takes away time from greenhouses, UPK, animals, and I kind of want my farm to be a mix of everything. I don't really want to focus on any one thing. You know, if I was doing a farm that was just crops and crop development, you know, no UPK, no animals or anything like that, then I probably would check out soil mod. And in real life, a lot of times farmers have a specialty. So, your dairy farmers or sheep herders or, what have you, pig farmers are not going to have lots of fields for farms. Sometimes they do, because, sometimes they're a big enough operation where they have enough help to manage everything. But when you're doing it on your own, you either need to specialize in one thing and do that one thing really well, or you need to do a lot of things moderately well. And for this farm, I'm going to choose to do a lot of things moderately well. And we'll see how it goes. Maybe our next farm, we can start to specialize in things. When we start Farming Sim 17, I plan on this Let's Play going right up until Farming Sim 17, by the way. But when we start Farming Sim 17, maybe we can focus on just animal farming, at least initially, because of the new breeding mechanics and the new animal types. I think they confirmed pigs as a new animal, right? Oh, that's what I was going to do for this episode. I was actually going to print out or write down a list of all the confirmed features and talk about them, and I forgot to do that. Darn. Oh well. We'll do it next time. I am really looking forward to Farming Sim 17, though. You know what really surprised me about Farming Sim 15, though, is that I felt like a lot of the mods were not on the same level as Farming Sim 2013 mods. I mean, I guess there's good and bad sides to both, but I feel like the vehicle mods for Farming Sim 2013 had a lot more features over the default compared to Farming Sim 15. At least in Farming Sim 15, I have not seen like a decent Ford F-Series truck, a modern Ford F-Series truck, or Dodge Rams, or I've seen a few John Deere tractors, but nothing like the ones I was using in Farming Sim 2013. But on the other hand, the UPK and script extender like mods for Farming Sim 15 are better. So, I'm getting more into the UPK things. I'm using more default equipment and using more modded like game extenders. Though I am trying to dig up some better modded equipment, like those case facelifts are pretty good. That large New Holland pack. That's pretty much all I have in for vehicle mods at the moment. Everything else that I have is like free DLC or paid DLC. I did buy all the DLC from Giants because I bought it from Steam. So I had no idea about like what a difficult time people were having, like who bought it from the website. Like they weren't getting the same sales as the people who bought it on Steam and everything. So I went ahead and bought all the DLC from Giants. I was, me personally, I was pretty happy with what Giants did with Farming Sim 15. So I gave them, I haven't used all the DLC actually, but I bought it so I could support Giants, and if they do well with Farming Sim 17, I'll buy all the DLC for Farming Sim 17 as well. One thing I will use in this Let's Play, though, that I've never used before is the Holmer potato harvester. I would like to see how well that's done, and if it's, actually an improvement over the Grimkey that is provided with the base game. And I also kind of want to test out the ITRunner pack. I've never used that before either. I've used the JCB and New Holland pack. I mean, obviously I'm using the JCB pack right now. But I've not yet used ITRunner or the Holmer. And obviously I use the Gold Edition extensively. Sosnovka. Well, not extensively, like 10 episodes worth. I really need to get some kind of logger and just get these trees out of the way. They look nice, but man, they make work in this field more of a pain than it should be. I mean, they're not terrible, but it makes it so I can't hire a worker. If I could, I would hire a worker to do this, and I would follow it in the New Holland seeding. So we would probably have this field about halfway seeded by this time, if I could hire the worker. But I can't. Now, I'm also not sure if driving on crop that is seeded but hasn't budded yet, I'm not sure if that will destroy the crop or not. So I'm actually going to fertilize before I seed. We'll see how well that goes. That's what I did with the other two fields. Alright, JCB, we have given you a workout. We used you exclusively in the last episode, and now we just used you for the cultivating. So we're going to get this equipment squared away, and then we're going to grab the New Holland and use that for the remainder of the episode. Alright. I hope you guys are enjoying the 60 FPS episodes. It does take quite a lot more disk space to record, and it does take quite a lot more time to render, but I was watching the last episode back, and my oh my, the quality difference is huge. So, at least for Farming Sim 15, we're going to be 60 FPS videos. LSPDFR, I actually don't get 60 FPS a lot of the time because I have the graphics cranked and I run an ENB. So I'll probably keep those videos at 30 FPS. Just because if you have it, 60 FPS with drops down to 30, that's a lot more noticeable than just keeping it at 30 FPS throughout. I was gonna get the New Holland, that's right. So 60 FPS for Farming Sim, 30 for LSPDFR, and those are currently the only active series on my channel, though we may add one more into the mix. Here, let's check the grapes. Are they done? Grapes are not done. Grapes should be done in the next hour, so we'll get everything started here. 55%, that should be enough to sow this field. Alright. This cornfield only takes like 2 or 3 passes. Oops. I think we can start here and be fine. Okay, auto working with 0 offset, new direction. Ah, perfect. Nope. I don't have the right thing selected. There we go. Alright. Skip on over to the next part. Man. Cuts it close there. I'm debating if we should get into sheep, get into wool production, or if we should just skip the sheep and go right into cattle. Because we have done sheep before, but the cattle is something we've never really done in depth. I mean, we kind of did at Westbridge Hills, but not too much. So I'm thinking about getting the water mod in and running some cattle. What do you guys think? Would you like to see me take care of some sheep, or just jump right into cattle? I've also been looking into the placeable pigs and beef. I'm not really sure how that works though. The only link I could find to the mod was on a site I don't think I trust. So we'll have to see what happens with that. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and pick up the seeder and we're going to start sowing this field. Once we get to noon, I'm actually going to... Oh no! I lost control and drove over the crop for a second there, so... Yep, there's a little divot. Son of a gun. The yield on canola is low enough. But anyway, I'm going to grab the seeder, start sowing barley, and then once we get to noon, once we get to 12 o'clock, we're gonna switch over to the smaller New Holland, and we're gonna grab that front end loader and a basket, and we're going to harvest these grapes. Alright, so we're gonna need to refill the seeds. Ooh, watch the pressure washer. Might need to get a heavier counterweight for this tractor. Right now I've got the 1,000 kilogram one on here, and it's still kind of like floating around, so might need to look into getting the 1,500 or 1,700, whatever the next step up is. I don't remember what it actually is. Alright. That will work. Man, I'm just trudging along 4 miles an hour. Hey, you see how the field is not just like a smooth curve up? How there's a lot of little rises and divots in the field? I actually like that, but it makes me wonder if this map is supposed to have that suspension mod on it. I kind of feel like it should, even if it doesn't have the, even if it doesn't have like the mud holes or whatever. So I think I'll look into adding that in for the next episode. Oh, you know what? I haven't shown you what we got from that corn harvest. We got about a trailer and a half worth, so about 30,000 liters of corn, if my memory serves correctly. That was a couple days ago when we did that. And I think I'm going to leave field 18 as just grass, at least for the time being, because I really don't have money for a plow. So I think I'm going to leave it as grass and use that for mixed ration, or if we want to go ahead and have a sheep farm, we'll use it to feed the sheep. I mean, I guess it wouldn't really hurt to have a sheep farm, would it? But it, you know, it still takes money to get up and running, and then you have to get... Well, we do have a tractor with a front-end loader on it, but we need to get the pallet forks and a transport trailer and all that stuff. So, personally, I kind of feel like that capital could just be invested elsewhere. And once we're a little better established, we can start looking into starting a cattle farm and starting greenhouses and stuff. Because we need a cattle farm so we can get manure, and then once we have manure, we can start looking into the greenhouses. So what we may end up doing actually is having once we get our cattle up and running, our grain production may turn into support for the cows. So we can have a large herd of cattle and have a large amount of manure being produced, and then we would need to produce things like hay and wheat. Sorry. Wheat and barley, so we can get the straw from it to make the straw bales for the cows and for the mixed ration. We would need to have some grass fields so we could get hay. We could also, if we use barley to make the straw bales, we could use the barley to make homemade beer. And then we could sell the beer for a nice profit as well. Though the brewery is really expensive to put down, and it requires a lot of water. So that would be quite another large investment, but wouldn't really take that much extra effort to support. I mean, we'd be harvesting the barley anyway to support our cattle. Our greenhouses are going to need a lot of water support as well. I don't think I'm really going to do the bread making and stuff this time around. I might. We'll see how things go. But the buildings for the bread making really just don't fit in here. And it didn't really stop us in Westbridge Hills. That was because... Sorry, I have the hiccups. But that was because that was the first time we were using that mod. It was really cool and exciting. Then we really did use it a lot in Westbridge Hills and started to use it again in Sosnovka, so might just be better to do something else this time around. So at least for the time being, I'm not going to mess with, flour production and bread production. I'm going to focus on crops and getting, selling grain Eventually potato. We'll have a small potato farm as well. Oh, did that... That hasn't finished sowing yet. There we go. Alright, it is noon. So let's check on those grapes. Go ahead and park the tractor here. Let's go check on the grapes. What have we got? 95%. You know what? I stopped seeding for this, so that's close enough. Let's grab a box. Whoa. Settle down there, killer. Better get a counterweight on just in case. You know what? We will wait for the 100%. As Uncle Hector said, if you're gonna do it, then do it right. I mean, I feel like a lot of people actually said that, but Uncle Hector did say that quite a lot. We're already a third of the way done with the field, close to a half. So yeah, it's definitely not as painful as I was expecting it to be when I saw that Uncle Hector had not yet invested in a larger seeder. Let's kind of knock this area out really quick. Hoping this driving doesn't kill the seeded area. Well, I guess if it did, we would see it change color, wouldn't we? Missed a spot. Darn. Let's get that. And forward. Alright, there's that top part taken care of. Let's move on. Resume our regularly scheduled sewing. Hey, you know, at least the fields are nowhere near as large as the California map fields. Can you imagine the cedar on those fields? Holy cow. No thank you. It would literally take you an entire, like, real life day in order to do that. And this takes long enough. Long enough for me. Come on. Though part of it taking a while might just be, you know, the tractors don't go uphill very well. As you know, when we were starting, I bet you guys were like, oh, those are really good tractors that are just gonna plow through all this work like it's nothing. It's like, well, actually, they are good tractors, but we kind of need them for this terrain. I mean, can you imagine those low horsepower starting tractors? They'd never get up these inclines and stuff with this equipment. Would not happen. Or it would happen. It would just happen very, very slowly. Oops, wrong key. Wrong keys everywhere. Incidentally, does anyone know how to change, like, a button that's assigned? I would like to change the drive control shift key away from space to, like, shift. And that's just because a lot of the tractors that I downloaded have IC activation on the space bar. And I really don't want to give up drive control because I actually really, really like it. Don't ask me why. But for some reason, the shuttle shifter, I don't know, it just feels better to me than just pressing W and S. I like having an acceleration and a brake key instead of a forward and a backward key. Unless, of course, you're in first person on foot. But even in GTA 5, sometimes I'll press space to shift instead of just pressing back. Right, we are just about done with this field. Well, when I say just about done, I mean like halfway. Well, once we get our next pass in, that'll be about halfway. I'm actually going to start our next pass from the top, and I'm going to abuse the map and glitch through that fence, because I know I can. Let's flip around here. And once it clicks over to 1 o'clock, we are going to go ahead and check on the grapes again. And if the grapes are ready to harvest, we'll harvest the grapes and then we'll take them to the market, and we'll probably call that an episode. Because by the time we do that, that would probably be close to an hour of an episode, or 45 minutes, between 45 minutes and an hour. Pardon me getting a drink of water. Alright. I hope those grapes are actually ready at 1 and not still at 95%. Surprised the canola hasn't really grown in the time that we've been working. I kind of thought it would. There we go. And we're getting close to 1 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and just park it here. Jump on over. There's 1 o'clock. And we have some fully grown grapes. So let's go ahead and take care of those. We have to keep Uncle Hector's grape legacy alive and well. Can you actually refine the grapes without using like that huge building we were using in Sosnovka? I'm actually not sure. I know there's the fruit wine and marmalade stands that come with the mod, but the grapes are actually not accepted there. Actually, they come with the other version of roasted berries, or they come with processing and sale, don't they? But yeah, nothing for the grapes. Alright, so we have 2,000 liters of grapes. And I believe they're sold at Tractor Supply. I believe he sells them at the Tractor Supplies. There's a little farm store attached to Tractor Supply Company. I believe that's the place that we have the contract with, or Uncle Hector had the contract with. So we're gonna run these over there. Alright, let's see what kind of money that we're going to get for this. I'm going to say we're going to get about $2,000. That's just going to be my guess. I guess we could look at the actual notice board and see what we're going to get. I believe we can sell these here. I'm actually now debating if I use the right item. You know, if we can actually sell these at the shop, or if I'm going to have to replace the shop with a little grape stand, which might actually make more sense. But there's the shop. I'm pretty sure we can sell these. Yes, we can. Alright. Traubin. Two each. Nice, so we should get $4,000. Yep, there we go, $4,000. That was a nice surprise. Thought it would be quite a bit less than that. So we'll get this back over to the farm. And we will call it an episode. Because it is been 45 minutes. That seems like a pretty good length for an episode. By the time we get back to the main farm, it'll be about 50 minutes. So there you go. Episode length. You know, one thing I don't think I'm going to do, I don't think I'm going to do anything with the BGA this time around. Again, that's something we did pretty heavily in Westbridge Hills, I believe. Whoa! Huh, didn't have the box lifted high enough, I guess. Alright. Also, guys, I need some help finding some American-themed seeders and cultivators that would actually fit on this map. Like that huge John Deere, that's a combo cultivator, fertilizer, and seeder. Don't think that's really small enough for this map. It's a very nice mod, don't get me wrong. But I don't really think I can use it here. Oh. I think we might just leave this tractor in this shed in the corner here. Alright guys, well I'm going to go ahead and finish sowing that barley. And then next time you see me, it's going to be harvest time. The way the harvest is going to come in on field 20, then field 17, and then field 19. So I think I'm going to go ahead and harvest field 20 off camera because you've already seen me harvest that field, you know, just last episode. So next episode, we are going to be harvesting field 17, and we'll also be making a selling trip, as long as we don't get a great demand. If we get a great demand, I will probably make a selling video as kind of like, you know, a short 5-minute selling video as kind of like a prologue to the next video. So, like, the next video would start opening with the selling, and then you would get the intro and then the actual video. Real quick though, I did want to show you what we got for corn. 31,000. So assuming we started with about 6,000, okay, it was about 24,000 that we pulled off the field. So it just must have been one trailer and some change. But yep, I'm going to keep on working. Thank you guys very much for joining me today here at the farm on in the Great Smoky Mountains. It's great to be back in the U.S. Let's just hope that Westbridge Hills doesn't put out an extraditable warrant for us. Shh. So, until next time, I've been a Shadowbox, and have a good one, guys.